This is Michael Orl of MobileBurn.com, and I just received the new Blackberry Storm 2 for Verizon Wireless. I have not looked at it at all yet, so I'm not sure what we're going to get. Here is the device itself. Looks very much like the old Storm. I'll pull that out a little bit later and show you a comparison. Definitely no click on the display though, unlike the original Storm. So we'll set that aside and just take a quick look at what's in the box. Looks like we've got a pair of wired stereo headphones here, little foam covers for extra comfort. Call button on it. Those are 3.5 millimeters. This is a micro USB cable. Here's the battery. We'll have to stick that in there, see if it says a battery size on it. Looks like 1380 milliamp hours. And of course, a charger. Looks like a standard Blackberry wall charger with a micro USB connector. Let's put the battery inside the phone. If you look in the back, looks like you have to grab it here and give it a yank. You can see there's a SIM card in there because it's a world roaming phone. Battery goes here. Drop the top edge in, click it back on. There's a protective coating still on it, that's why it looks a little funky right now. And let's power it up. The device is powered up. We're going to pull some of the protective pieces off of it. There are a lot of them. One last one here for the camera. In terms of the hardware design, everything seems to be pretty much spot on with the original Storm. I'm going to try it out later, but it even looks like it's going to fit into the same dock I had for the original Storm. You see all the buttons line up perfectly. There's just a new look, get rid of the chrome and added a black to it. Power port in the same spot. This is the old Storm in my right hand. The new one here, Storm 2 on the left. Everything lines up pretty much exactly in the same place, and even some of the basic specs are the same. 3.2 megapixel autofocus camera and everything. One of the only obvious differences in the hardware design here is that there's buttons down here, actual hardware buttons for call, send, and end, and the Blackberry menu and back buttons on the original Storm, and they're part of the touch surface on the new Storm 2. And the fact that the display doesn't physically move means you get rid of some of these big gaps down here that were present on the original Storm. And you'll notice, I'm pressing on display and it's not clicking. If I power it up though, it certainly feels like it's clicking. I'm going to assume that it's not actually moving, and it's just something like the Moto Rocker E8 did, a piezoelectric haptic feedback or something like that, but it's a pretty realistic feeling. So anyway, we're in the Startup Wizard. Let's just close that out right now. Do not remind me later. Definitely feels like a real click. It's almost uncanny how real it feels. Very strange. Okay, so let's take a look at the device. We've got micro USB connector on the left hand edge, and this is a button here for user configurable, usually voice dialing by default, just like it is now. Up top, there's labeled as a power button and a mute button. That turns the screen on and off. You can see I just turned it off. I tap it again and turns the screen back on. Mute button. 3.5 millimeter headphone jack right here. Volume controls on the right edge, and another soft key that you can configure. Probably the camera by default. And it is. Little attachment point here, probably for a dock or a cradle of some sort. Microphone hole, speaker. The speaker used to be down here on the original Storm. It's on the bottom now. I imagine that'll make it a little bit better if somebody puts it in, face down or top down in their pocket. So, in any case, nice looking display. You can see it's totally capacitive in nature. I'm barely touching it, and it's registering my taps and everything like that. It's only when I press further that it feels like it clicks and actually does something. So pretty nice. Feels very much true to the original Storm without the actual hardware limitations, you know, the gaps and the physically moving display. So pretty nice design. So let's just pop quickly into the main menu, take a look around, see what we've got. My Verizon, Vcast, looks like Vcast Music with Rhapsody support, VZ Navigator, of course. And it has, you know, the scrolling is very much just like a regular capacitive screen, no pressure required. It's a little sprung though. It's I'll have to see what it works, how it works in real long lists and stuff like that. It seems a little overly sprung to me. It doesn't actually track the finger all that properly. It picks up a little bit too much momentum. But anyway, it looks pretty slick. Let's jump into the About section, take a look at the OS it's running. It looks like it's 5.00320, new version of the OS. So that's our first look at the RIM Blackberry Storm2, the 9550 for Verizon Wireless. I'll put together some more detailed videos once I get a chance to mess around with the device. Until then, I'm Michael Orrell for MobileBurn.com.